All right, so today we are working on this. We're working on understanding their critical theories to see if students are ready and prepared to start their final research paper. And each group was assigned a particular critical theory. Right now the group's working in pairs. We are going to be sitting here. They're going to first review the forms that they did earlier. They had to do brief paragraphs, sort of trying to understand what each one of the critical theories was. This group got to choose which ones they were doing. Zach, why don't you join over here? And yep, perfect, thank you. And basically what they're doing today is going back through their notes and trying to make the theories accessible to the rest of the class, because before they could start doing research and determining what they want to write their thesis paper about, their final research paper, which they will determine on their own, they need to understand what the critical theories are. So we re-feng shuied the room today, making a little more space. You can see the kids have laptops. And now the first task is really making sure they understand the critical theories. So I'm going to start by going to the group who got a head start yesterday because they finished their work early. All right, guys, so yesterday you decided you were working on feminist theory. I see you have a basic idea of how you're going to lay out the chart paper.
So it's just the basics. We thought of doing the classical definition of the theory.
Okay.
And then if students can't understand that well, we would reword it to make it more easier to understand.
Okay.
And then we're debating on what kind of whether we should draw something here or we can do a graph or a chart here for the image over here to represent the feminist theory.
Gotcha. No, they're not their laptops. This is a school's laptops. We actually have a cart that we get in here every day for the various different ones. So right now, as you can see, they're looking up their theory again, making sure they understand it. They're working on feminist theory, which is kind of complicated and has a lot of nuance, so they need to determine first which angle they're going to really whittle it down to so that it's understandable. I know a lot of students were really interested in female characters, so that's probably going to be an approach to what they're doing and how female characters are read through specific lenses. I know that when I spoke to some students in some preliminary phases, that seemed to be the direction we were going in with it. Basically what they're going to be doing to share with other students is after they finish their chart papers, they're going to be doing short presentations next week. And then the other classes, the other students, while they watch, will be doing back channeling on Twitter to make sure their questions are answered before we get to the library in 2 weeks. Our first day at Queens College Library is on May 18th, I think. So by then I want to make sure that all the students really understand the topics that they're working on. Their working topics are due on Monday, so really just want them to have that cursory sort of understanding while they're starting to do their research. We have one Prezzie for postmodernist over here.
It's based on the author's views and perspectives, doesn't follow the norm, keeps the reader guessing, unpredictable, and makes the reader question reality.
So what could that apply to?
We're not exactly sure yet.
Fair enough. What do you have?
No idea.
Basically, I put it as your crazy uncle on Thanksgiving that you see once a year, but you have to kind of just listen to what he's saying anyway.
Something
Just not.
along the lines of dystopia, but not quite.
Okay. So reading it through that particular lens, I think I might actually have a comic book version of postmodern literature, which I will get to in a second. I will try to get this onto Facebook. I'm going to probably upload it to YouTube in a little bit. I'm using an iPhone right now, which is why it's kind of a little wobbly, and I'm not really the best cinematographer in the world. What are you guys working on?
Genre theories.
And what is your understanding of it so far? Did you guys do the preliminary paragraph?
Yeah, I'm just looking at like the link you sent us on the actual assignment in the email, the 2 links that we could use to refer to.
Right.
And like, oh, my clicking thing. Like, it didn't come up here. I was going to use it.
Gotcha. I also have, folks, I have 2 books on my desk that have sort of like a broad, short definition of all the theories. They're like little big encyclopedias of literary criticism. So if you are inclined to use a book instead of the computer, that is absolutely okay. As long as after you borrow it, you put it back on my desk, that's all good for me. Yeah, I'm going to also look, because I think I have specific things on theories. Okay, what's going on?
The original definition that we have, or just
I think you should
final?
start there as far as your discussion of it. If you think you've done a good job of describing it in a way that breaks down in a way for people to do what they need to do, then I think you guys should be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of them are using Purdue. I love Purdue. I have permission to share their stuff on my site, and I just think they have great resources, particularly for college writing and research. So trying to get the kids used to using it as well, and this is a really awesome group of kids. I'm very, very lucky to be working with them. You guys are doing the formalism? Yes. And what's your cursory understanding? What's your first impression of what formalism is?
It's the no criticism.
Right, that's the other way of calling
And
it.
you have to look at it in an objective view. You can't use any outside sources, but you have to look at it only within the text and find the evidence
Okay.
within it.
All right, excellent. Hey guys, something you might also want to consider for your chart paper is which theorists are most closely associated with your theory. Usually there's 1 or 2 people who have championed your ideas and that are closely associated with them. So if there is a person who's linked to what you're doing, you might want to mention that, as well as the time period that your criticism became an accepted way of looking at literature. The AP exam was Wednesday this week, so we are done with the AP exam. This is our final project of the year, which is, in my estimation, a far better example of what these kids have learned. They will be writing a 15-page research paper in the college library. We go there 3 days. They meet with the librarians. They do research in the stacks and in the academic scholarly articles. They create their own thesis statement, and essentially they generate an annotated bibliography. They do outlines. They draft. They meet with me. They meet with each other. They continue to do research. And then at the end, they put together a portfolio of the work that they've done, which, I've worked. It is a big class, but today I actually have, I think, 6 students who are out on a trip. It's a 30-person class. Most of my classes this year are about 30 kids. So it's how it is, but we make it work. And as you can see, these kids are all really engaged in the work. They take their work seriously, pretty fortunate for that. And we've created a real culture of learning in this space. And, that's that. You guys have any other questions about the kind of stuff we're doing in here right now? I could also post at some point the assignment sheet that they're working from. I believe I already wrote about this in the past. We've done something similar in the past years. And as you can see, everybody's sort of working around. The school is World Journalism Preparatory School, WJPS, in Flushing, Queens. Okay, so you guys are doing deconstructionism.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
It's the confusingest one out of all of them.
Confusingest.
It's different than the other ones that are given.
So what is your initial understanding of it? Confusion aside.
That it's more about the structure rather than the meaning
Okay.
of what's being said in literature.
Well, you have it. It's the actual breaking apart, looking at it in its pieces instead of at its whole, right?
Yeah.
I think we kind of do that, and you guys don't realize that that's what we're doing sometimes, because we've never actually called it that before. Okay. The Purdue site has a good definition. I saw that you were on it before. Simpler. All right. Well, This is a little peek into my AP Lit class. It's a group that I'm super proud of, and I will post this later, and what I'm hoping to periscope the presentations on Tuesday. So if this looked interesting and you want to see what happens at the end of all this, on Tuesday we will be presenting. You can see also that we have some models on the wall for the kids to consider. We have the concepts and different paradigms for literary criticism that are up on the wall for the kids to think about. I've done some stuff about it. I did Periscope before, and I've also done Meerkat. I could talk to the kids about it. I think they just think it's funny that I'm talking to myself while I am walking around. And the first time I took it out and was talking to myself, I think they were really confused, and then I explained what was going on. And I think now they just think it's interesting. Do you guys use Periscope or no?
Periscope?
You're like, what's Periscope? It's what I'm using. Do you guys ever live stream what you're doing?
I've never heard of it.
Okay,
Wait,
so there you have
you
it.
have people viewing right now?
Yeah.
How many?
Right now, I think there was up to 10 before, but I'm sure people that aren't my friends are also on there. That's me. Hi, people. So yeah, so it looks like the kids don't even know what Periscope is, aside from me being on it most of the time. Yes, that's it. They thought I was crazy. I was talking to myself. I'm crazy, but I'm not usually talking to myself. All right, well, you guys have a super day, and Tuesday we will return with the presentation.